Praise the Lord. Thank you. Praise the Lord. All right. If you notice, I'm hesitating here. Because, see, this is the sermon that I wanted to preach right here. Boy, this is so good. But it ain't for you, so it ain't no use to preach the things, for God's sake. The Lord began to change my mind. I said, don't do this. I don't have notes. He said, well, then you don't know how to preach. So, and I've done this before, but the Lord just told me to do this. So I'm going to just kind of preach out of my spirit. You may have heard me say some of these things. I have learned that anything I ask for, not some things. My theme this year is your everything is his anything. And that's St. John chapter 14, verses 12, 13, and 14. He says, whatsoever you shall ask in my name, that will I do. Why? That the Father may be glorified in the Son. Whatsoever you shall ask in my name. See, the church world has stopped us from asking God because they thought we might get greedy. Now, this is not my sermon. This is just an appetizer, just a preamble. So, how many of you want a new house? Okay. Now, some people could think that's greedy. No. Okay, put your hand up. How many want a new car? Watch this. Put your hand up. You know, if you don't ask God for that, you don't glorify him. Because, see, it's a whatsoever. That's St. John chapter 14, verses 13. Whatsoever you shall ask in my name. Now, you got to understand that power of attorney to use that name. That will I do. Why? That the Father may be glorified in the Son. And then he said, if you shall ask anything. Now, what does anything mean to you? Now, see, the church world would say, well, that's spiritual. No, it is in one sense. It's spiritual, it's physical, it's financial. But see, they're so worried about you becoming greedy, they have. They want to control to make sure. They don't really care sometimes if you come to church as long as you send your tithe. I've heard preachers say that. Now, my God, we don't care if you're going on vacation, but make sure your tithes are here. That's kind of a slap in the face, isn't it? This is not my sermon, but I want you to understand what I'm saying here. So I'm very comfortable in asking God for anything or everything. Because, see, my everything is his anything. When you understand that I'm his child. My name is Jesse Duplantis Christ. You see, I'm in the family. Now, go with me to 2 Corinthians chapter 9, and we're going to start reading verse 6. Well, we can put it up on the screen, and I want the old King James for it. Paul writing to the church at Corinth, he says, but this I say, he was sow sparingly, shall reap also sparingly. And he was soweth bountifully, shall reap also bountifully. Now, what part of that you don't understand? What part of that you didn't get? Don't look at me, look at the verse. There is no faith in that verse. None. All that verse is action and reaction. This is what the Lord told me to speak about. Now, you may have heard me say some of this, but I'll say some newer things. Paul said, if you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. If you sow bountifully, you reap bountifully. Action and reaction. Next verse. He says, every man or every person, according as he purposed in his heart. Notice not in his head. So you don't need a heart bypass, you need a head bypass. Every man according as he purposed in his heart. Watch this. So let him give. Now I want to ask a question. How many times you went to a meeting and you gave an offering? I want an honest answer by a lifting of a hand. You went to a meeting and you gave an offering, and when you got home, you thought, I shouldn't have done that. Hold your hand up. Why did you do that? Why did you come to a realization maybe you shouldn't have done that? Because you see, you didn't purpose in your heart. That's done before you get to church. That's not done while you're at church. So that an emotional financial pull will never move you to do something God don't want you to do. I want you to listen to me. Every man according as he purposed in his heart. So purpose affords you anchorage in the times of battle. When you're a person of purpose, you have foundation on your feet. Now, let me read the verse, and I'm going to talk about this. Stay on verse 8 right there. Verse 7, excuse me. Every man according as, every man according as he purposed in his heart, so let him give. Watch this. Not grudgingly. Now, look at this next three words. Of necessity. Uh-oh. Now, that's just jacked up the whole way of understanding how to give. Because God said you shouldn't give to need. No, don't look at me. Look at that. Look at that. Every man according as he purposed in his heart, so let him give, not grudging of necessity. Why are you giving to a need? Why? Why would you do such a foolish thing when he told you not to do that? That's a waste of such spiritual energy. Y'all look at me like I done lost my mind. Why? Because the Bible said he'll supply how many need? How many need? How many need? Oh, let me get black with it. How many need, Lord? Hey, Lord Jesus. So you've heard me say this thousands of times. I don't tell God what I need. I tell him what I want. So then when you do that, you're not giving grudgingly, nor of necessity, for God loveth not like it, but he loveth a cheerful giver. Now, every man according as he purpose in his heart. When you're a person of purpose, it produces prayer in your life. That's right. So prayer and purpose gets together and produces a baby named perception. So you can read that verse. Keep the verse up there. Every man according as he purpose in his heart, purpose, prayed, and perceived. Now, when purpose, prayer, and perception gets together, it produces another baby called power. So you could read that verse, every man according as he purpose, prayed, perceived, and powered. Now, everybody likes that power, but the problem is power can be very dangerous because you must be superior to it instead of driven by it. See, that's why politicians mess up and preachers mess up. They are driven by power instead of being superior to power. You've heard me say that. Let me say it again. Jesus was a man of great power. And they're all trying to kill him. I said this the other day. I got to repeat it. They tried to push him off a cliff. Jesus had enough of that. He just turned around, and I'm going to paraphrase. You want to dance with me? You want some of this? Then he said, I can call more than 12 legions of angels to handle this situation. Now, and I said, I got to say it again. One angel in the Bible knocked down 185,000 men. So if 12 legions of angels would have showed up at the beck and call of Jesus, which he had, 20 billion, 400 million men would have bit the dust in one lick. One lick. The world has not known that kind of population. But because Jesus was superior to that power, instead of driven by that power, he went to the cross so you didn't have to go. Got it? So you could read that verse, every man according as he purpose, prayed, perceived, and powered. So let him give, not grudging on necessity. But wait, what about if my church needs, I need to present something to my church? Right. Well, isn't that a need? Yes, in a sense, but you see, you're not giving to the need. You're giving to the purpose of what the need will do once it is met. So I don't tell God what I need, I tell him what I want. So when you get up and say, we're believing God, whatever you're believing for your ministry, instead of a need, you say, and you're not giving to the need because the need gets old, but the purpose never does. You're giving to the I'm not spinning this. Listen to me. You're giving to the purpose of what that'll do once it is met. So in other words, if you've done this before you get to church and your pastor gets up and said, we need to build a new building, instead of giving to a need, you go, oh, yes, now I know why that was so strong on me. Because you're not giving to the need, you're giving to the purpose of what that will do once it's done. Are y'all getting this? I want you to notice how many times God says all, always, in all these verses. Go to the next verse now. And I love the next verse. I call this the black verse of the Bible. But this is black. And God is able. I said the Lord. I said the Lord is able. Oh, you ain't hearing me. Believe I'll walk over here a while. I said the Lord is able. Look at the white people. Look at the black people. Going down with your bad self, devil. Go ahead, white boy. I said, and God is able to make how much grace? How much grace? How much grace? God is able to make all grace abound toward who? Toward who? That you what? That you what? Notice that how many times it says all, abound to you, always having what? Having all what? In all what? Why are you mad at me because I have a jet? Let me get to that camera. Why are you mad at me because I have a jet? All I'm doing is being biblical. Amen. What's your problem? Amen. I'm not being rude here. All sufficiency in all things. If things are so bad, why is God giving you all sufficiency to get it? Maybe you ladies want a real Louis Vuitton purse, or Chanel, or Escada, or Givenchy, or Christian Dior. I'm talking about a real Louis Vuitton. I ain't talking about one of them knockoffs that when the cops come, they run around the corner. I'm talking real Louis Vuitton. You want to see two new ones, two real ones, they're sitting right there on the floor. Nothing wrong with that. Well, my God, they shouldn't have that. They could use a flour sack. That's true. But who wants a flour sack? Notice I said, who wants it? I ain't saying anything about the need of it. See, God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you always having all sufficiency in all things. Now can you understand why in 41 years of full-time ministry, I've never had a financial deficit? You think it was because of my faith? It was because of that. Don't look at me. Look at the verse. All sufficiency in all things. Then the other part of that verse kicks in. May abound to every good work. If you're a pastor, let me help you. There's a rumor going around the United States and other countries. Say, you better watch that Kenneth Copeland and that Jerry Savelle and that Jesse Duplantis and that Keith Moore and that Bill Winston and that Creflo A. Dollar Jr. Because, boy, they come to town, they'll suck all the money out of the church. They'll suck all the money out of that thing. And it'll hurt your church. Now, either you lying or God's lying, I pick you. Why? Abound to every good work. Pastors, is your work good? Yes, sir. Sure it is. So you don't have to worry about us. Well, I lost a few of you right there. See? Why? Because God is El Shaddai, not El Cheapo. Like as if you're going to exhaust God's blessing. On your best day, you cannot impress him with your wealth. He's got gold streets. You got asphalt with holes in them this big sometimes. All sufficient. Don't think. So why? Oh, now I'm going to make somebody real mad. So, should I say it? He said, say it. So why should I have to suffer? Well, you know, the first church, yeah, I know the first church. The first church was the foundation church. The most powerful weight of this building is on the foundation. But you're not the foundation of the church. You're the roof. Now listen to me. That doesn't mean we don't go through things. We understand, but we go through them. We don't stop and canonize the place while we're going through. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Then say, though I stop, build a house, and canonize the place. You see. See, I've learned some things. If you'll listen to ministers and they'll tell you what not to do, don't do it. If they tell you, listen, there's a big old sinkhole when you walk out of this convention center, don't drive and you go drive your car in that? That's foolishness. You see, so they taught us what not to do as well as taught us what to do. And I'm talking about this. We would not have the Arab-Israeli problem if Abraham wouldn't have done what he did. But, you know, it was tantalizing if you think about it. All the theologians say, no, he didn't really want to do it. Yo, mama. I mean, think about it for a minute. Let's just get right down to the flesh. Abraham, I can't have a baby. So I want you to go into my servant's tent. And I want you to have intercourse with her to have a baby. Abraham says, I'm going to do this for you, Sarah. Any woman in the world wouldn't believe. You think you done lost your ever-loving mind? He said, what's up, Hagar? And then when it all started going south, he didn't know what to do. You see, that was a mistake there. And God kept telling him through Sarah, will all the nations of the world be blessed? Yeah, but I'm getting old. Sarah's getting old. Have you seen her lately, Lord? Both her arms, when she prays you, the bottom of them do this. Don't get mad at me now, Lord. I saw somebody went, just keep your arms down and praise God like this. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. I don't know why women worry about their arms anyway. Let me help you, lady. One time I hugged a woman. She said, oh, my God, I hope you didn't feel my back fat. I said, what did you say? I hope you didn't feel my back fat. Ladies, let me help you here. There ain't no man in the world saying, did you see that woman's back fat? He ain't looking at your back fat. He looking at other parts. He could care less about your back fat. And if he does look at your back, it's a lot lower. I'm getting out of town this afternoon. I'm laying it on you. Look at Carol. You see what I'm saying? So God, okay, let me go on. And God is able to make all grace abound toward it, that you always having all sufficiency in all things, that may abound to every good work. It is written, he has dispersed abroad, he hath given to the poor. Now watch this. His righteousness remaineth forever. We had a little conversation in the back, me and Creflo. I said, Creflo, you're trying to explain that grace message. I said, let me give it to you in one sentence. He said, what's that, Jesse? Quit trying to become what you already are. That's the grace message. He went, my God, that's it. See, you don't earn this through the Mosaic law, blah, blah, blah. Just quit trying to become what you already are. You are what God says you are. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but I don't feel it. That don't make no difference. You are what God says you are. Sometimes you don't feel saved, but you're saved. Sometimes you do unsaved things, but you're still saved. You ask God, you repent of it, say, Lord, forgive me, I didn't mean to blow it like that. But and the old Pentecostal people said, if you just slipped up once and you died, you went to hell. God's mercy and grace is far stronger than that. See, they're judging you, see. As it is written, he has dispersed abroad. So I have the ability to disperse abroad. He hath given to the poor. So I should do that. My righteousness remaineth forever. So the reason why I didn't get angry and want to kill somebody when they attacked me was because my righteousness remaineth forever. I didn't say I didn't feel like doing something like that, but my righteousness got ahead of my anger. You see, he is dispersed abroad. He has given the poor. His righteousness remaineth forever. Now, next verse, he which ministers seed to the sower, not to the keeper. I love to give more than anything in my life. I enjoy that more than anything. And I don't have to know you to do it. Now, when you say things like that, people write me, oh, Brother Jesse, would you pay off my house? No. But if God told me to, I would. I ain't going to hell over your house. If he told me to. I mean, trust God enough to talk to me. Well, you ain't listening. How you know I ain't listening? You see what I'm saying? Now, he that ministers seed to the sower, not the keeper, he says, watch this, both minister bread for your food. Notice how many times this is getting bigger and bigger by the moment. Both minister bread for your food and multiply your seed sown. How can your seed be sown? How can it multiply? Because you see, I quit giving seeds a long time ago, and I'm in a new stage of giving harvests. I like giving harvests. And then I asked the Lord, well, what and you heard me say then, what do you get when you give a harvest? Well, when you sow a harvest, you get an orchard. I'm not talking about one tree. I'm talking about the whole shebang. You see. Now, he was ministered seed to the sower, ministers bread for your food, multiplies your seed. So, and here we go with the increase again. And increase the fruits of your righteousness. See, God looked down and saw two boys, one named Jerry Savelle and the other Jesse the Planners, in a nightclub. Jerry's at the bar and I'm on the stage. Let me tell you, if you don't think God got a sense of humor, me and Kenneth Copeland played the same nightclub in Fort Worth. Now, we didn't know each other. Brother Copeland sang and played at the Town Pump in Fort Worth. Anybody ever go to the Town Pump? None of y'all that old? And I played the Town Pump. Oh, yeah, because that was the #1 club in Fort Worth many, many, many years ago. In fact, one was opened in Dallas in the 1970s called the Village Pump to try to get the same thing going on at the Town Pump in Fort Worth. Isn't that amazing? Never think we'd ever preach together, much less be preachers. But see, God knows the beginning from the end. And I'm pretty sure most people thought that God could never use a Kenneth Copeland when he was singing Pledge of Love. Or Jesse the Planners when I was playing all this stuff. And I mean, I'm talking the makeup and the craziness and wow, and and that hair just a slinging like that, and people screaming and hollering. Yet God saw something. What did he see? Watch this. Righteousness. Was I doing any righteousness? No. But see, God was calling those things that be not as though they were before I ever knew who he was. He was setting my future up even before I even knew I had a future. Do you see that? Let me say that again. Now, he that ministers seed to the sower, ministers bread for your food, multiplies your seed sown, increases the fruits of your righteousness. Next verse, being enriched, not just rich, being enriched in how many things? Everything. Now, what does everything mean to you? Everything. Being enriched in everything to what? There's that word all again. All bountifully. Why do people get mad at me? Because I'm blessed in the city, blessed in the field, blessed going in, blessed going out. That doesn't mean I don't need partners in my ministry, but I'm just blessed. But I'm going to say something going to be so radical. This is so radical, it's going to blow your socks off. I'm believing God one day that I'll be the partner to you instead of you the partner to me. Let me tell you something. If that guy from Amazon can make that much money just at the plant of skin too, I just got to have an idea, a concept, and an understanding how to do that. Sam Walton of Walmart. What a great idea he had. You know what his idea was? Stand outside the store and say thank you for shopping Walmart, give them a good product at a good price, and be nice about it. That was his idea. And an idea is the most phenomenal thing anybody can use in this life. It is the most richest thing. It can produce things beyond your wildest dreams. An idea. Being enriched in all bountifulness, which causeth through us thanksgiving to God. So if you notice, I never make an excuse for the blessing of God in my life. So when I'm being, slammed by the media, me and Brother Copeland together, it's kind of nice that me and Ken are getting hit together if two of us agree. I mean, they nail him, then they nail me, and this and that and all. They show us, I don't know where to get the pictures going out to the airport to get on the plane and all this kind of stuff. What they don't know, and let me help you people. You helping me. One day I may buy your station, then you are going to work for me. I hope I like you. That's impossible. Somebody got to own that station. See, somebody got to own that business. Why does it always have to be somebody else and not you? Because most people tell you, including the church, that you can't do that because you might get greedy. That ain't greed, ladies and gentlemen. It could be growth. When's the last time a poor man helped you? The best thing to do, best thing for the poor is not to be poor so you can be a blessing to the poor. But you don't look down on people. Your money don't make you who you are. Your ideas does. What will you accomplish? What will people remember by you if you should die and go by the way of the grave? What legacy will you leave? If you believe what I just said, everyone in this building will leave a legacy beyond your wildest dreams. I'm talking about spiritual, physical, and financial. You do have the ability to make enough money to handle all three different generations. You, your children, and your children's children. Do you know how much money that is? Do you know that Isaac never spent a dime of his money? Yeah, isn't that something? He only was spending Abraham's. That's how much Abraham, he was how rich? Very rich. Now, if he is our father of faith, why did God make him rich? Watch this. So you could have an inheritance. So you could have an inheritance. So watch that. Isaac didn't spend a dime of his money. He already had Abraham's. My God. Esau and Jacob didn't spend any of their money. When they finally got their act together, my God, man, the anointing was on both of them, even though one didn't regard God very much, yet God blessed him. Why? Isaac's money. I tell people when I give them, you don't understand, not only is this a seed or a harvest I'm giving, but I'm putting in that harvest, my anointing is on that. You hang around with me, you're going to get debt free. You understand what I do will come upon you. In every area, what you do with Kenneth Copeland Mission will come upon you. When you sow that seed, you'll be walking in Australia. You'll be walking in the Ukraine. Do you understand? No, you don't understand it because you think you just gave an offering. You didn't give an offering. You gave a seed. And a seed is reproducing constantly. You can't stop it. There's one place on this planet Earth, and it's up around the Antarctica, that hadn't rained for 3 million years. They know that for a fact. So a man went down there and took a little glass. He put a seed. Now, there was a seed already in the ground. He saw it. Been there 3 million years. So he covered it with a glass, put a candle inside of it, and watered it. Within 3 days, a green sprout grew up. You can even turn bad soil into good soil if you know what to put in it. You know, there's something happening now because of the fertilizer we use, and the runoff, it's cancer causing, gets all over in our rivers. But years ago, they used to use cow manure. I know anybody want to mess with no cow manure, but for some crazy reason or another, it sure made your flowers grow. It made the sweetest corn. It was called organic. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's why your grandma and your grandpa could eat eggs fried in bacon grease, because the pigs were organic. The pigs were eating organic. Everything was organic. They had their own, they grew their own vegetables, and they grew their own chickens. I remember my grandfather, and I was raised up on the street with him, and when we'd go to his house, he had chickens in his yard. So when we had fried chicken on Sunday, we didn't go to the store and buy a chicken. Somebody was going to die that day. And he'd go out there and catch a chicken. And the chicken knew it. He was speaking in tongues. That was it. And we'd eat him. That's why they could live 70, 80, 90, and 100 years, eat eggs fried in bacon grease. Because even the grease was organic. Because it was all homegrown. Think about that. Kathy's grandmother lived to 104, ate anything she wanted. And now we the generation, we know how to exercise. Yeah, we got so many knee replacements, hip replacements. You never saw all that stuff 40, 50 years ago. I believe in exercise, don't misunderstand me. But I mean, you're not created a deer. You're not created a thoroughbred. You see, you should exercise, but you wasn't created to do some of the stuff that you put your body through. Then we had this thing, no pain, no gain. Boy, no, that's not right. Because the guy that said that has got 2 knee replacements. Think about that for a minute. Exercise is not a good thing for you to lose weight. You got to run almost an hour and a half just to get a pound off. That's 3,500 calories. But if you eat less, you knock that baby out real fast. But you should exercise. I believe it. I exercise all the time. I mean, I am very, very disciplined with my exercise. Oh, yeah, I do that. Because I don't care how I look on the outside. I care about what's going on the inside. Because you see, if something on the outside ain't working, that don't affect nothing. But if something quits on the inside, the outside going to know about it real quick. Now, he says all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work. So I decided that I would abound to every good work. Now, when I said that, preachers said, I know Jesus said that, but. Well, no, you don't know Jesus said that. You don't know. You're trying to convince yourself that what he said is true. But when you know in whom you have believed, you've heard me say it before, people are trying to convince themselves, I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm believing. I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm standing on, I think I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get this thing to work. And see, and we get into all these religious practices. Jesus didn't come to create Christianity. He didn't create Christianity. He stayed Jewish all the time he was here. Mankind created Christianity. Jesus would never do what Christianity has done. Jesus would never molest a child in church. Jesus would never kill people like the Crusades did. But boy, religion will. What is religion? It's a garden of weeds. It's a theological wilderness. See, I've had people tell me all the time, Dr. Duplantis, what do you believe in? I said, Jesus. Well, we all believe in that. I said, no, you don't. You attest to it, but you don't believe in it. See, we believe in healing if he does it. But we add a little incentive. if he does it. I'll never forget, not long ago, I read an article in a Christian magazine, when God doesn't heal. I thought, you got to be kidding me. God heals all the time. Sometimes they're not always received. You know, Jesus already died for every person ever born, every person that be born. No one, hell shouldn't have one person in it at all. But you got to make a choice of what you're going to do with it. Do you choose to be healed, or you hope to be healed? Even God said in Deuteronomy, he said, choose life. I put before you death and life. And he said, just choose life. See, I choose to be blessed, not so I can live better. Because, you know, if you raise eating fried chicken, you can get so rich. You can have I'll give you an example. I can eat anywhere I want in the city of New Orleans. God has blessed me beyond my wildest dream. So all these fine restaurants know me. All the other ones do too. Why? Because sometimes you just want a cheeseburger. I ain't saying you got to eat it every day. In fact, I was in Honolulu, Hawaii, at Art and Kuna Sepulveda, a Word of Life church. It's a great church. If you ever go, don't cut God out of your vacation. Go to church. Just go there. Enjoy yourself. You know, enjoy yourself if you want to. But so Kuna calls and Art calls. He said, hey, but Jesse, we want to take you. What's the name of that restaurant? Mariposa? It's at the Neiman Marcus. She said, you want to go? And I said, Kathy, tell her I don't want to go to Mariposa. And she said, why? I said, it's too healthy. It's just too healthy. I mean, I can eat grass like a cow if I want to. That's too healthy. I want something Hawaiian. I want something with some flavor. Now, I'm not talking about doing this all the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat. I mean, I like fried chicken. I don't eat it very much, but when I do, I enjoy it. I mean, when I eat a piece of it, I don't say, God, don't kill me. Don't clog up my arteries. No. You know? But I believe in eating healthy and doing right. But what is healthy? Because everything you eating today, how many times they said you went to a certain place where there's nothing but they serve organic food, and you found out that they were getting it anywhere they could and charged you higher for it? I've had people say, you know a little bit about organized crime. I say, let me tell you something about organized crime. You want organized crime? Washington, D.C. That's organized crime. That's organized crime. But they just have the power not to go to jail. If you'd have done what Hillary Clinton done, you'd have went to jail. And I'm not against Hillary. I've never met her. I think she's a very smart woman. I do. I think she's a brilliant lawyer. But if you'd have done that, you'd have went to jail. If you'd have done what Bill did, you definitely would have went to jail. That doesn't mean he's not smart. That doesn't mean he's not a good politician. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, well, you know, that's my personal private life. No, not when you're president. When you're president 24 hours a day. You want that job, that's 24/7. And if you're a preacher, that's 24/7. That's 24/7. You shouldn't be messing up with the piano player. You shouldn't be messing up. No preacher ought to be accused of adultery. What are you doing? You're a minister of the gospel 24/7. God's given you all sufficiency in all things. You should abound to every good work. Well, my wife ain't as pretty as she used to be. Well, neither you. And nobody as pretty as they used to be. Young's wonderful, but it don't last long. My granddaughter grabbed this the other day. Grandfather, what's this? I said, a safe deposit box that I keep your future in. Now, she sees that I'm a blessed man. She knows that. Finally, she came up to, she said, Grandfather, how much money you got? And where is it? I want to see it. She's 11. I said, why are you asking me that, Meredith? She said, you said everything you have belongs to Mama and me. I said, that's right. Everything me and Mimi has belongs to your mother and you. You my only heirs. Well, where is it? I said, it's here. But I can't show you that the day. There will come a time I will. I said, let me tell you something, little Meredith. You're 11 years old. You'll never have to work a day in your life. I said, but you going to work. We're going to teach you to work. Do you understand? And just because I've got you an inheritance, that doesn't mean you're better than anybody. You never look down on someone. Nothing. You don't do that. And I said, when you go in somebody's home, I don't care if it's small, big, whatever. If they love it, you love it. There's not, as long as you're out the rain, I said, you're going to work. We a generation that works. We believe in that. Now, there's some people, they don't want to work. Well, somebody's got to do something. If they took all the money of every rich person in America, we'd only touch maybe, 3% we got a $22 trillion deficit. And they always say it's unfair to pay our fair share. Whoa, everybody, excuse me. If you pay people to be poor, they're going to stay poor. That was Ronald Reagan's statement. Now, I know Jerry Savelle likes Ronald Reagan. And, I think it's fun. I like Ronald Reagan. I went and visited the White House. So I went to the White House little bookstore and I bought me an original Washington, D.C. White House photo of Ronald Reagan. And I wrote on it, Dear Jesse. I wrote, Dear Jesse, I can't thank you enough for praying for me and for helping me to win this election. This is needed. Without your prayerful and financial support, I would not have become president. I can't thank you enough. Signed, Ronald Reagan. I put it in my boardroom. Kathy's mother came over. And she went, and she liked Ronald Reagan. She said, my God, Jesse, you know Ronald Reagan? I said, look at the picture. She read it. She goes, wow, I didn't know you knew. He said that. I said, no, I bought it myself and wrote it myself. I thought it was funny. She didn't think it was funny at all. But I thought it was funny. Hey, it's my story. I'm going to write it the way I want to write it. Do you see what I'm saying? So I had preachers tell me when I first went into the ministry, now when you go out and eat dinner, just leave your wallet and let somebody pay for it. I said, that's not going to happen. Do you know, and I know a lot of waiters and waitresses because Kathy don't cook, so we eat out twice a day. That's just the way it is. And she can cook good, but she's delivered from the bondage. She's not going back to Egypt. She ain't going back to that. The only time she cooks, if there's a hurricane, she cooks. And you know what they tell me? That the worst tippers are preachers. All of them say it. I'm not known for that. I give them, they go, are you serious? I just went to, was it a couple of days ago, me and Keith and Kathy went to, what's it called, Rietta's? Is that right? It's a nice restaurant here in downtown Fort Worth. I really like, they got the biggest onion rings. My God, you could throw them, play horseshoes with it. They're good. I mean, things are big, man. Have you ever eaten them? They'd be big, good, you know. So I said, Keith, this is my meal. And Keith goes, I like the way Keith laughed. He said, I left my wallet. He said, that's convenient, isn't it? I said, yeah, we're just laughing and talking about that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I paid for the meal. So when the guy came, I said, you like your tip? He goes, oh, you got to be kidding me. Are you serious? I said, you got to make a living, don't you? I don't know the man. I don't have to know the man to be generous. Why? Well, how can you be generous? All sufficiency in all things. He said, are you serious? I wanted to tell him, you want me to take it back? I was at a PF